euphoric? Who is he talking about is euphoric on the market? And it's like, it's just going to go up. Other than Tom Lee, I don't know anybody that's really euphoric on the market. Okay, Tom Lee says the S&P, he was on the other day, and I think I actually reacted to that on the channel, right? And if you want to watch that, it's on the channel. A few days ago, I posted that. Tom Lee says that he believes S&P 500 was going to go up another 10% this year or so. At least 10%, I believe he said, right? 10% plus. So that's somebody that you could put him into the euphoric camp. But gosh, I watch a lot of CNBC. Fast Money is just one show, and I'll have it on in the background all the time. I'm doing work on my computer, up at the counter there, doing work on the couch, like all over the place, right? Sometimes I'll even have the doors all open, and I'll be outside doing work on that table, and I hear it on. I listen to these Wall Streeters go on. I don't hear anybody very euphoric ever, okay? You know what they either are? They're either kind of in the neutral camp, right? Not really super bearish, not really, they're just kind of like cautious. Let's call it that. They're the cautious camp. Okay, not super bearish, not super bullish, and bearish people. That's all that goes on CNBC, and these are all the Wall Streeters that control the money all the time, man. Even a lot of the big money has been either in one of those two camps, bearish or cautious. So this whole everybody's euphoric, it's just not the reality. And you could say, what about in the retail trade? No, retail's not even in this market right now. Like the amount of retail folks in this market is a very small amount. Good for you guys. You've been making a lot of money this past 9 months. Good for you guys. And you'll make a whole lot more money in the future. But, I mean, I can tell you, most retail's not here. So who's he talking about? It's so euphoric. Because that's just not the reality. At all. That's what I was telling you guys about, right? There's the most hated bull market. I don't even really want to call it a bull market. This is just the most hated stock market I've seen in my 15 years of being in the market. I've never seen a market this hated. Why is it so damn hated? The Wall Streeters, way too heavy cash going into this year, way too heavy put options, way too heavy shorts going into 2023, okay? Retail completely left the market in 2022. Other than a few people, some of you guys that are happy to be here for the next 10, 20, 30 years, right? So retail that left, if they're even keeping track of anything, which most of them aren't, okay, they're frustrated as hell, and especially because a lot of those folks then went from losing their butts on long positions to then swapping out mid-year and late in the year in 2022 to short positions and puts, and then just got doubly whammed, okay? That's what you call a cheesecake factory, okay? It's nasty style. That's what happened to them, and all these Wall Streeters are like, what the hell, man? Like, my puts are expiring worthless all over the place. I'm having to cover shorts with massive losses. And I got money chilling in treasuries and stuff while I collect my 5% a year, and I'm watching NVIDIA stock go up 150%. What am I doing here, okay? And their clients might even be putting pressure on them, saying, what are you doing, man? If I wanted to buy treasuries, I'd buy treasuries myself. What are you managing my money for? It's not all multiple expansion, okay? Some of the biggest companies in the world are going to see their net income skyrocket over the next several quarters. Amazon, Meta, what's the other stock I'm thinking of? NVIDIA. Those are three of the biggest companies in the world. Their net income is going to skyrocket, not go up a little bit, skyrocket over the next several quarters. It's going to be shocking to see the type of growth on a year-over-year basis. And then you got Microsoft, who just continues to put up good numbers and continues to grow that bottom line in a very nice way. They're going to continue to put up their numbers, right? Apple, I've been waiting for their numbers to become a disaster for a year now, and somehow Apple still gets it done, okay? We'll just call it that, gets it done, where it's not a disaster. And it's like, how do they do this? They pull rabbits out of the hat. So for the biggest companies in the world, it's a tough play to play against those guys, man. This playing against the Michael Jordans of the stock market. Amazon, I've continued to just load up on the stock this year. This is my number one, it's been my number one focus for stocks. I think PayPal is eclipsing them, but Amazon's still a steal deal, okay? Remember, with Amazon, you're getting the e-commerce business that everybody knows about, and you probably place 1,000 orders a year on, right? You see all those trucks driving around your neighborhood. You get Amazon Web Services, which is honestly more valuable to Amazon than the e-commerce business, and that's hard to even comprehend. You see all those massive Amazon warehouses. You see all those trucks driving around your neighborhood. You have the app on your phone. You buy a bunch of stuff on Amazon, and you think they have a business that's more powerful than that is immense. But the world's run on Amazon Web Services, okay? They have their ads business, which has grown into a behemoth. They have Whole Foods, they have Twitch, and they have other businesses as well, okay? And when it comes to Amazon, here's the deal, okay? This company's going to come in with epic beats this entire year, in my opinion. They just beat EPS very nicely this past quarter. They beat revenue by almost $3 billion, okay? And here's the deal. Analysts have their numbers way too low. Amazon's done a bunch of job cuts that you're going to start to see help the company's profitability over the next several quarters, okay? Analysts have them only doing $1.56 of EPS this year. I think they're going to do $2 plus in the bag, okay? So what you think you're paying for 4P is actually way lower for Amazon than what you think, okay? Next year, I had them doing $4 plus of EPS. Because remember, all these job cuts that have gone through this year, that's all going to be obviously reflected in the back half of this year, but also throughout the entire 2024, while revenue's eclipsing and going up and up and up for the company, right? And then 2025, I think they're going to do $6 plus. So the price you're paying for Amazon is exponentially lower than what analysts have out there, in my personal opinion. And Amazon's done this before in the past where they've blown away what people were expecting them to do, okay? So Amazon over the last 20 years has really been a company focused on revenue growth and mass spending, right? We're buying, we're going to build we're going to have a ton of airplanes. We're going to have this truck infrastructure. We're going to have warehouses everywhere, right? Mass spending, revenue growth. Amazon's story over the next 20 years, in my opinion, is going to be much more around net income growth and spending control. The days of them building 1 million warehouses in your city now, in my opinion, are gone now, okay? They're going to still be growing. They'll still always be adding, space here and there. But that craziness that you saw over the last 20 years is now come to an end, in my opinion. And so spending controls, net income will be the story for this moving forward. And so that's why this is one of many opportunities I see in this market. That's a great opportunity. And there's not a lot of great opportunities in big tech, but Amazon's one of those, in my opinion, okay? This has one of the best short-term situations going possible for it, right? In terms of the S&P 500 inclusion. I mean, it looks like, in my opinion, it's probably happening at the end of this year or the beginning of 2024. I mean, look at all the criterias, and you're going to find that Palantir's, almost there now at this point in time. They're almost there. So you got to understand, like, the closer you get to this S&P 500 inclusion, the more folks are going to buy into Palantir because understanding there's an arbitrage there, right? Of basically then, once a company actually gets on the S&P 500, then you have a massive amount of funds that are forced to buy in, right? And if at that same exact time you have a fundamental story that's going really, really good, then you don't have a lot of reason to sell out of the stock. That's what happened to Tesla stock when that went into the S&P 500. It had a great fundamental story, and then you had all that money that had to funnel in anyways, right? Because it was you had to buy it. Like, you own an index fund that tracks S&P 500, you have to buy it. There's not like an option of like, no, I'm not going to buy that one. I'm just going to buy the other 499 stocks. No, you have to buy them all, right? So these are things that are very important to keep in mind, and why I think it's a big risk to sell this stock right now, given the short-term things that are going for, in the long-term things. And also remember how much of a pessimistic view there is of this AI, right? Turn on CNBC. They hate AI constantly. If anything, that gives me some comfort. They call it a bubble. They've almost taken a stance on there. I watch Fast Money. I watch a lot of different shows on there of being so wary of what AI is, and is it real? It's just a bubble. It's just hype. And a lot of the people on there are, have very negative views on it. And the more I look at it, I'm like, I don't know if you should really be having those sorts of views, given what NVIDIA just told us, given what every company CEO is saying that's in this space about how much interest there is in their products right now. Is that really a stance you want to take, that just calling it a bubble and hype, when we're still at the baby stages of this? It's not like this is some hype train that's been building up for years, right? This is like new. Like, no one even talked about AI other than us that are super into the stock market. No one talked about AI 6-9 months ago, right? And so I think these are just things that we all have to consider out there. It's not like this is a situation where retail's all over this. I asked a friend, I said, look at Wall Street Bets, try to tell me if everybody's talking about Palantir. This was last week, because I was kind of curious, right? He's like, dude, I can't find any talk about Palantir inside Wall Street Bets. This is not like some GameStop, AMC stock situation that we had, a few years ago and whatever, that retail's all behind and everybody's got stimulus money and pump it into these stocks. Everybody's looking at AI from a skeptical angle. Even bulls like myself think about it and kind of like, well, are we really going to come in with those numbers? Everybody is. Why did this happen? Because the NASDAQ went down 37% peak to trough in a matter of less than 12 months last year. Remember that, right? From November 2021, when the NASDAQ peaked, through, halfway, 3/4 of the way through last year, we were down 37%. When you get slapped like that, everybody starts thinking so cautiously about everything, and everybody goes in with such a skeptical angle. And that's just another reason why I'm like, if this was 2021 and everybody was hyped up to the moon, that'd be a totally different situation. But we are not in that situation at all.